Hey planner friends! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be planning from the 14th to the 20th of November in my medium passion planner. Let's get started! So the kit that I'm using this week is Games Night from Plannerface, and this was the Cyber Monday mystery kit from last year. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use my code in the description to save yourselves a little bit of money and also mention me for a freebie. Originally when I posted my November lineup on my Instagram, I had a different kit picked out for this week, but things change and this kit fits perfectly with the plans I have for this weekend. As always, I've started with the pen base of my spread, so I've shaded in the parts of the timelines where I'm going to be asleep, and then I've gone in with my Grey Stabilo fine liner to mark in my alarm times and split my personal and work to do boxes in half so that I can have a checklist space for each day of the week. As you can see from all of the different fine liners I've used to mark in my work hours, I am going to be doing some colour blocking this week, so I'm using 4 different passion highlighters for this spread. The first is my November theme colour, which is from the Essentials pack and is called Blueberry, and then the other 3 are Vintage Gold, Vintage Coral and Vintage Denim, obviously all from the Vintage highlighter pack. As usual, I'm adding in my meals for the week using my Pilot Friction pen, so adding in breakfast, lunch and dinner for every day, except I don't add breakfast in on days where I don't have an alarm set in case I sleep in. I also keep forgetting that when I go to team training on Saturday, that is over the time that I would normally put lunch in, so I'm just going to pop a sticker over that at some point. Next I'm highlighting over all of those meals, and I'll also highlight over the check boxes in the bottom left hand corner and colour in the daily focus boxes of days where I'm not going to be at work. Because this week is in November, I'm just colouring in the check boxes in the bottom left hand corner with my theme colour for the month, which is Blueberry. I'm also going to use that same pen to write in my headers for my checklists, so I have a checklist for each day of the week and then also a this week one for tasks that are kind of more overarching or don't have a specific day where they need to be done. So that is pretty much it for my colour blocking pen spread. Now we can get stuck into some stickers, and as always I'm starting with my meal plan tracker, which is just something that I make in Excel and print off on sticker paper myself. I'm then adding in the squared off half box from the kit with some deco into the weekly focus box, and finishing off my sidebar with a habit tracker for my daily check-in and a decorative box from the kit. Although I trim these decorative boxes down on the sticker paper before I put them in my planner, as some of you may know if you've been watching my videos for a while, I'm really not good at measuring things, so I'm just trimming off like 2mm so that I have a little bit of white space between that decorative box and the meal plan sticker. Next I can move on to my washi headers, and because this is a slightly older kit from Plannerface, the 15mm strips weren't exactly 15mm, so I've cut one of them in half to cover my Space for Infinite Possibility and my personal and work to-do list headers, and it's come up a smidge short on the end of the work to-do list header, and then I've cut a 6mm strip from the second piece of washi to create my gratitude header in the bottom left hand corner. I can then add in my weekend banner, and I don't know why I've been struggling to get these down so much recently. I think I just go through phases of being able to put a weekend banner down in one go or not. So zooming in and starting on Monday, I'm first using a little thing and a bit of deco from the kit to mark in that I had my return to work meeting with my manager this day. Next I'm using a regular event label with a Joy of Planning scientist girl to mark in that I was duty scientist this day, and because someone else was ill in my team this week, I did end up being duty scientist every day that I was in the office, which is just way too much. For Monday evening I'm using one of these chunky fancy labels with a sticker sheet doodle and a film script from Plannerface to mark in filming some more of my Plansmas videos. We can then move on to Tuesday, where I'm using a glitter header and a work from home script from Plannerface in the daily focus box to mark in that I was working from home. And then I'm using a Pinky Stickers printable and a leg day script from Plannerface to mark in my first weight session of the week. I knew I wasn't going to do much after that, so I'm adding in a glitter header between that and dinner for just taking up some space. Moving on to Wednesday, I'm using a quarter box and the book doodle from the kit to mark in my usual Wednesday afternoon seminar, and then on Wednesday evening I actually managed to get onto a yoga class at the gym, so I went to an in-person yoga class for the first time in months, and I'm marking that with the Pinky Stickers printable. We can then flip over to the second half of the week, where I'm marking in working from home again in the same way that I did on Tuesday, and then I'm marking my second weight session of the week with another Pinky Stickers printable and a push day script from Plannerface. That recycling icon is also from Plannerface but has been discontinued, so then we can move on to Friday, where I was supposed to have a meeting this morning, but I've just ended up using this box to mark in a duty scientist again, and kept the phone doodle from the kit because I didn't want to waste it. For Friday afternoon, I'm marking in another meeting using one of these long flags from the kit, but I've trimmed it down so you can't really tell that it's a flag anymore. And then I was originally using one of these fancy little things from the kit to mark in Duty Scientist, but I've since replaced that with a glitter header because I marked Duty Scientist in the morning instead. The most important thing that happened on Friday was that our new fridge got delivered, but originally when I set the spread up, I didn't know what day it was going to get delivered. Because I was going to have a bit of a busier weekend, I decided that I would do my planning for next week on Friday evening. So I'm just using a flag and the planner doodle from the kit with the planning script also from the kit to mark that in. I have changed this up though because I had a bit of a long evening of just doing planner stuff. So then we can move on to Saturday, where I'm first using a half box from the kit with a Joy of Planning weightlifting girl to mark in team training. Until I started going to these training sessions on Saturday, I didn't realise how helpful it would be to have a group of people yelling encouragement at you when you're trying to do a big lift. I'm also using a glitter header just before that half box because driving there takes me a little bit longer than a half box takes up, so that's just going to take up a little bit of space. And then I'm going to use a quarter box with some deco and an edit script from Plannerface to mark in editing and recording this voiceover on Saturday morning. This new little routine of recording my voiceover as soon as I wake up is actually working really well for me, and I don't think I sound any more croaky than I would normally. For Saturday afternoon, I'm using an event label and a doodle from Plannerface to mark in that my friend Becca was coming over, and we're probably just going to play some board games this evening and have a chill one. So for Saturday evening, I'm using one of the square boxes from the kit with some of the deco and also a board game doodle from Plannerface. So moving on to Sunday, I'm first using one of the 3-heart checklist boxes from the kit to mark out some cleaning time, but this wasn't the cleaning checklist, so I've just cut the title of it off instead of just trimming a bit off the end. Super fiddly, but it works. I'm then using a skinny event label with a YouTube button icon from Ickle & Co and an upload script from Plannerface to mark in uploading this video, and my last weight session of the week, which is kind of just mopping up things that I didn't get done during the week, with a pull day script from Plannerface. On Sunday evening, I'm planning on setting up my December monthly, so I'm using a quarter box with the planner doodle from the kit to mark that in. So now I've got all of my plans laid down, I can add in some decorative boxes to fill in some of that space when I'm at work, and as usual when I'm colour blocking, I've tried to match some of these decorative boxes with the colour of the day that they're going on. Also, as I already mentioned, I did a really bad job of measuring this week, so I'm just trimming a little bit off of that box that I've put on Monday, whereas usually I would have trimmed these vertically on the sticker paper and then just be trimming them horizontally on my planner so that they fit nicely within the timelines. I'm also finding that trimming them horizontally on my planner is getting a little bit worrying when they're on the left-hand side of my planner because it is so chunky on that side now. I don't know if you can tell on camera really, but Wednesday is like super curved because I've got almost the entire year under the left-hand page. Next, I'm going to go back with all of the chisel tip side of my passion markers just to add in those little dots for my top 2 or 3 things that I get done at work each day. Although this kit did have checklists, I'm definitely on the train of just adding in the dots myself now, mostly because it means that I can write on the lines rather than kind of in the middle of a line. And then I'm just filling in some of the extra space around those checklists with half-cut headers from the kit. I'm also pretty happy with how well the passion markers that I picked out match the colours in the kit, especially that vintage coral and the pink that's in this kit because I think they're pretty much exactly the same colour. So now that I've got all of my decorative and checklist elements, I can go back in and fill in all of my plans as usual using my Pilot Friction pen. So this week was very much back to something resembling normality after the last 2 weeks of chaos and feeling terrible and everything going wrong. I'm very happy to be back to a fairly normal standard week where nothing really went wrong. I mean, things still went wrong, but like nowhere near the amount that happened the other week, and also it was a lot more manageable because it wasn't like everything going upside down all in one go. I went back into the office for the first time in like 2 weeks on Monday, and I was super worried about it just because I hadn't commuted for a while and I didn't know how I was going to be with being back in the office, but everyone in my team was super supportive and it was just really nice to catch up with everyone in person rather than seeing them on a screen on Teams. My manager was also really supportive and was like, let me know if anything's making you super stressed out at work, and I was like, honestly, work was not the thing that was super stressful when I was struggling the other week, but it was the only thing that I could easily get rid of. You can't call in sick to things going wrong in your house or your dog being in the vet. Speaking of Reggie, he is doing so much better this week. He's definitely much more himself again, and although he's still on some medication, he's bouncing around a lot more and has loads more energy and loads more appetite than he did when he originally came home. He's even got the energy to be super stubborn again, so that's great. When it comes to my planner, although last week it was quite nice to have a few days of just memory planning, I did really miss my pre-planning, and I definitely needed it for being back at work this week. Although nothing ever quite goes to plan and I have moved some stuff around this week, I've pretty much got everything done that I wanted to get done at this point. I'm really excited to have just a chill weekend, catching up with friends and also going to training. I'm now on my 4-week competition prep, so I've done my first 2 sessions of that this week, and they were pretty heavy, but I really enjoyed them and I didn't feel completely dead after them, which is what I was slightly worried about. But Saturday is the biggest session of the week in terms of the length of the session and how heavy it is, so we'll see how I'm feeling after that. My focus for this week was to take things one day at a time, and I think I did a pretty good job of that this week, even though I did pre-plan the whole week ahead of time. But that is it for my pre-planning for this week. Let's take a look at the finished spread. So here's the spread all filled out, and I'm super happy that I decided to colour block for this week because I love how this one has turned out. These colours just work so well with colour blocking. As you can see, my to-do list section really filled up, but I did manage to get everything done, so I'm feeling pretty accomplished after this week, but not too burnt out, which is exactly what I wanted. So that's everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!